Hey there folks, this is Dave Wood again, talking to you from my video office in the mountains of Escazú, Costa Rica. And I wanted to welcome you to core commitment number 4, which is going to teach you how to dramatically increase the amount of money that you can make from the new customers that you're bringing into your business here at Empower Network. Now, the way that you're going to make that additional money is going to be through something that I call a new member coaching. Now, before I get into how to do that and why you should do it and also the strategies behind it, I'm going to teach you a lot of cool stuff in this video. First, I want to do an income disclosure. Obviously, what I'm going to teach you here does not guarantee that you're going to make money. The amount of money that you make is up to you. Please see our average earnings disclosure at empowernetwork.com/income and refer that to everybody every time you're talking about money in this business, including on your new member coaching calls. You know, a lot of people think that, I shouldn't do income disclosures because it's going to reduce my conversions or it's going to reduce my upsells. The fact is, people appreciate full disclosure and honesty. They appreciate knowing that they're going to have to work in order to get the results they want. So here's what this is going to do for you. Number one, you're going to be able to dramatically increase the amount of money that you can make per member. I'm going to share some stories with you in just a second. Number two, if you do this, the work you do is going to last longer and it's going to grow bigger. In other words, more people are going to stick around in your business if you complete this process. So before we continue, here's what I want to do. I want to do a little goal visualization. I like to do this actually as a part of every process, because if your intentions are focused in one direction and you're intending on learning one thing, you're going to get much bigger result than if your mind is all over the place. You're going to get a much bigger result if you're focused. So what I want to do, once again, I want to do a little visualization with you talking about the $1 million rings. So we can splice in some video footage, but what I want you to do is I want you to imagine a big, bright, three-dimensional $1 million ring. It's got the blue Empower Network symbol in the middle of it. It's got the diamonds surrounding it, 250 diamonds embedded into platinum. It's floating there out in space. Make it bigger, make it brighter, blow it up. Fill it with color, make it three-dimensional. Hold that in your mind, just close your eyes for a second and imagine the feeling of being on stage, receiving that ring because you've earned it. Now go ahead and open your eyes. The second thing we want to do is we want to get in a state of taking action, all right? Now we've all been in times in our life where we've taken action, and we've also been in times in life when we've put things off or we've been lazy and when we haven't taken the action that we've wanted. Right? So what I want you to do is I want you to just go back in time, just real briefly, to a time in your life when you were in the zone. Could have been playing sports. I don't know if you've ever been in that state where, you've been out playing basketball or you've been doing martial arts or you've done something and time seemed to slow down because you were so focused. Maybe you were, playing pool and all you could see was the ball. Maybe you were playing golf, and Tiger Woods said something fascinating when he goes out when he plays golf. He said that when I play golf, the hole gets so big, it's all I can see. Because when you get in a state of being in the zone aimed at your goal, nothing can stop you. I want to share a story really quick about the new member coaching, and then I'm going to break down the process for you. We first taught this process actually in our first event in Atlanta, Georgia, where we taught people how to connect with their new members, what to say, how to do it, and as a result, they would get dramatically higher upsells per member that they brought into Empower Network. Now I'm going to explain how the upsells work in a second. I'm going to explain how you can earn more money by doing this process along with that. But I want to just tell the story first. So I was teaching the story about, how to kind of set up a process to where when your new members come in, you just reach out and connect with them. You say hello, you ask them specific questions, you find out about their dreams and goals, you find out what their core desire is. I'm going to get to that here in a minute. And then by doing that process and by walking your new member through that process, right, you were going to be able to get people to buy the Costa Rica Intensive and the 15K formula and the master's course and things like that. Well, Tracy Walker was one of the people that listened when we taught this strategy. She just listened when we taught this strategy. Over the next 90 days, she didn't bring any new members, she didn't bring any additional new members on top of what she was doing before, all right? She didn't really change anything else in her process, but what happened is her income more than doubled. It more than doubled just from following the strategy that you're about to learn in this video. So let's go back to our process here really quick and let's show kind of where this is inserted. So what's our process again? Our process is going to be to get traffic, to get leads, and to get customers, to get upsells, producers, and leaders. Now our aim is, if you look at this little number here, we say new customers, right? The aim is what? The aim is 2 new customers a day. Now, after you get those customers, you want to walk them through this process, okay, where you want to be connecting with them to help them make new decisions. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the steps of the process. Then I'm going to explain why you should do it. And then I'm actually going to give some examples of how to do it to kind of complete this picture. All right? And if you do this the way that I teach it, I promise your results are going to be bigger, they're going to last longer than if you don't do it. So you ready? All right, so here's the parts of the process that you really want to take charge of and you really want to do in your business. First step is, right, when you call your new customers, is you want to get rapport with them or responsiveness. In other words, you want to establish a connection with them that they're going to respond to. I'm going to talk about how to do that and a little bit more about what that means here in just a second. But what responsiveness is, what rapport is it's when you tell your new customer to do something, they're actually going to listen to your advice and they're actually going to do it. It has nothing to do with how much money you're making. It has everything to do with attitude and what you say. All right, so we're actually going to make a little script book, a little short one that's going to go along with this video. It has everything to do with attitude. It has everything to do with what you say. After you develop responsiveness, that's step number one. Step number two is going to be to get to your new customer's core desire. Now remember, we talked about in these videos, core desire is not the goal. Core desire is what they really, really want to do this for. You know, they're building this business for their kids. They're building this business for their family. They're building this business because it's part of their purpose. You want to get to that core desire, and I'm going to show you an example of how to do that in this video. That may take you 30 seconds, may take a minute with somebody on the phone. These videos, when you send them to these videos, are also going to help your new member get to their own core desire in this process, and then of course they can just tell you if they've already watched these videos. That's actually going to be part of the process as well. Step number three is going to be to find out how much time your new customer is willing to commit every day and every week to their business. Okay, so in other words, how much time are they willing to set aside where during that time when they work, they do nothing but this business. Step number four is going to be find out how much money they're willing to dedicate now to their business to get started, and also how much money they're willing to invest into marketing, invest into their education on an ongoing monthly basis in order to get the results that they want in their business. Step five is going to be to find out what kind of commitment that they really have to making this work. You got to isolate that commitment, and you have got to find out, are they serious or are they not serious? All right, that's step number five. And then step number six is, of course, to give a call to action, which is nothing more than to tell them what to do following the specific process. So let me go ahead and walk back through those steps, talk a little bit more about each one, and then let me break down why you should do it, and then let me show you some examples of how to do it. All right, so we're going to go back. We're going to go back really quick to step one here for a second. The goal is to develop responsiveness when you first pick up the phone. How do you do that? You become others focused. So in other words, if I get a new member, I'm going to call them up and I want to connect with them based on what their interests are by asking them questions about them, why they joined, and what they want out of this business. Step number two, get to the core desire. How do you do that? Well, here's really how you get to a core desire, and once again, I'm going to walk you through an example. How you get to a core desire is by asking questions, okay? When somebody gives you answers to things. You'll find if you connect with a lot of people, if you talk to a lot of people, which remember, we're never going to ask you to really talk to more than 2 people a day who are already in. It's a lot different than prospecting, right? But when you connect with a lot of people, what you're going to find is that people will almost always give you a surface answer to questions. They'll almost never give you the real answer to a question the first time you ask a question. So when somebody asks a question, when you ask a question that's like, how much money do you want to make in this business, right? What's your goal? And they're going to say, well, I want to make $10,000 a month. The way you get to a core desire is really simple. You just say, when you get $10,000 a month, what's that going to really get you? And then you wait. And then they're going to say, well, I'm going to be able to pay my bills. I'm going to be able to afford a nicer house. I'm going to be able to pay the house I have now. I'm going to be able to afford stuff for my kids. They're going to give you answers. And you say, okay, when you have a nice house, you repeat back in their language, when you have that house, when you're able to pay for nice things for your kids, when you're able to buy a nicer car, in their own language, repeat back exactly what they said, what's that going to get for you that you don't have now? And they're going to tell you something else. And what you're looking for is you're looking for an emotional shift. And you can hear that in somebody's voice. When somebody's talking to you, right, and you're just asking questions, there's a point at which they shift, and it just kind of feels like they open up to you and they start speaking a little bit differently. The actual tonality, if you're on the phone with them, the tonality of their voice will actually change. It'll usually be softer, usually smoother, usually be slower, and if you're really listening, usually their breathing will change, right? That's how you know you're there, you're at the real motivation, right? So you got to get to the core desire. The next step is you want to find out how much time can you dedicate on a daily basis to your business that's going to be unmovable time. That when you say, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time, I will dedicate this amount of time no matter what's going on, I'm going to commit to this process. How much time are you willing to dedicate like that? Now, I'm not asking how much time you want to dedicate toward it. I'm asking like your boss would ask you if he was interviewing you for a job. In other words, when you go out and you apply for a job, you can't just say, hey, I'll show up 30 hours this week, I'll show up 45 hours the next week. If you do that, you can't get a job. What you got to be willing to do is you got to be willing to say, this is how many hours I can work, and no matter what, I'm going to be there unless there's a family emergency or unless I'm really, 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 really sick, I won't show up. Okay? That's the kind of dedication you're looking for with that time. So how much time are you willing to dedicate where you're willing to block that off and do nothing but what I tell you to do? Number 3, how much money are you willing to invest to get started to accomplish your goal? In other words, you don't want to just ask how much money are you willing to get started in your business, because here's the problem with that. If you just ask how much money are you willing to put in their business, they're going to tell you whatever they've already put into the products that they need and the education they need. But if you ask them a different question, if you go back to their goal and back to their core desire, then you get a totally different answer. In other words, let's say somebody that said they wanted to make $10,000 a month and you got to their core desire, and their core desire was to really provide a better future for their son. They had a son and they just really wanted their son to be able to go to a nice college. So here's how you'd do that. You'd say, how much money are you willing to put into your business to get it started in the right direction in order to make that $10,000 a month as quick as possible, and in order to really give your son the future that he deserves? How much are you willing to put into your business now, and how much are you willing to put into your business on an ongoing monthly basis? And then you stop. They give you an answer. Then you actually want to clarify that answer to make sure you're at the truth. And you say, so in other words, Billy, I want to ask you a question. You said that you're willing to put in $2,000 to get your business started now. And you're willing to put in an ongoing monthly basis. You can set aside $400 in order to hit these goals, invest in your education, and in order to hit that goal of $10,000 a month so you can really give your son the future that he deserves. So you said that you're willing to do that. Now let me ask you a question. Are you able to do any more, right? And you're just a little nervous, or is this the number that you can do? And all I'm looking for is honesty, because I'm always going to be honest with you, right? And I want you to always be honest with me, and I promise that I'll never tell you anything that's not in the best interest of your business. And he's going to tell you whether it's the truth or not. If you clarify like that, right? Then once you're at the truth, you move on to the next step, which is what's the next step? So find out if they're committed, right? Find out if they're committed. And how do you do that? You repeat back what they told you they're willing to do, okay? Repeat back what they told you they're willing to do, and then you repeat back why they told you you wanted it and what they're trying to get. So in other words, if somebody said, so I'm willing to put into my business $2,000 right now, and also on an ongoing monthly basis to put $400 aside for marketing and also for products and education that I need and tools I need to run my business, I'm willing to do that in an ongoing monthly basis in order to make $10,000 a month to provide the future that I want for my son. So I'm going to ask him, so Billy, we were just talking and you said that you were willing to put in $2,000 to your business right now, and that's what you could do. And the reason that you want to do that is so you could give that future to your son, and you could pay off those bills that you wanted to pay, and to really give your son the future that he deserves. You said that you're willing to put in 10 hours a week, 2 hours a night, 5 days a week, and you said that that's the maximum you could do, but no matter what, you're going to put in that time in those hours in the night, not for education, but for working in your business. So in other words, you're willing to put in 2 hours, $2,000, $400 a month, and that you're willing to do that over the next year with me in order to get the results that you want. Is that right? Yes. So let me ask you again. If I tell you what to do with that $2,000 and I tell you what to do with that 2 hours to hit that goal of yours faster, to hit it more accurately, and to hit it in a shorter time period than you do on your own, will you listen to what I tell you to do? Will you listen to what I tell you to do? Or are you going to kind of just do what you wanted to do anyways before we had this conversation? Because I'm only willing to work with you if you're absolutely committed to doing what I tell you to do, because I tell you the truth, I'm busy, I don't got a lot of time, because I've got my own goals, my own desires, my own dreams, and I'm only willing to work with those that are serious. How serious are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the most serious. And they'll tell you. Anything less than a 7, you just challenge them, right? But if somebody says a 9, then what do? You give them a call to action. What does that mean? A call to action is structured like this. There's 3 steps in it, right? And what you do is you describe one thing to do, but 3 steps to get it done. Why do you do it in 3 steps? Because the military, they did studies into giving people commands and found that commands are executed more accurately when you break them into 3 steps. So in other words, what you're going to tell somebody to do always should be broken into sections of 3. It just sinks better into somebody's mind, right? In Kung Fu, they punch in sections of 3 too. It kind of like is one of these weird things that happens in the universe. So how do you do that? Well, let's say, you know, what you're going to do is you're going to tell somebody to buy a product. What you say is, I say, what you need to do with that $2,000, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you log in, I'm going to have you buy 3 products, okay, and then I'm going to tell you what modules you need to study in those products. So right now I want you to log into your back office. I want you to click on the green button that says Activate Now for the inner circle, and it might be a different color if we've updated our back office. I want you to click on the Activate Now button for the inner circle, and then I want you to hit the button that says Submit Payment and activate that product now. And tell me when it's done. And they do it. And they say, now I want you to click on the product that says Costa Rica Mastermind Intensive. And I want you to click on the button that says Activate Now. Click in the button that says Submit Your Order. And make sure that this product is activated in your back office and go ahead and tell me when that's done. And now what I want you to do is I want you to log into your back office. I want you to click on the button that says Activate Now for the 15K formula. I want you to then click on the button that says Submit My Order. And then I want you to go ahead and tell me when you've completed that order. And then I'm going to tell you what to do. Okay? Bam, bam, bam. So that's a call to action. All right? So that's the process of how you do it. Let me tell you why you should do it, and then let me give you a couple of examples. Okay? Why should you do it? Right? Why should you do it? Here's why you should do it. Because when you bring a person in, your income is going to be tied to, number one, how committed they are, how long they stay in, right? And what products they buy. Okay? What products they buy. Well, why does that have anything to do with it? Well, because if a person comes into your business and they've got specific goals and they aren't willing to buy the products that they need to learn the skills that they need to be able to hit those goals, number one, they're never going to hit the goals. So you're doing them a disservice by not selling them the product because they're not going to have the information that they need to be able to hit their goals. Right? Here's the second thing, though. The second thing is you're going to earn more commissions when they buy those products. So when a new member comes in, these are our core products. If they buy the blog, you get a $25 commission. If they buy the inner circle, you get $100 per month ongoing monthly commission as long as they keep that product. If they buy the Costa Rica Mastermind, you get a one-time $500 commission. And if they buy the 15K formula, you get a one-time $1,000 commission. And if they buy the master's course, you get a one-time $3,000 commission. The reason it says 25/25 is because it costs $25 and we pay out all the revenue on that product minus processing fees. On the master's course, it costs $3,500. We pay out $3,000 in commissions on that product. The total amount that it costs somebody to be all in on our products, okay, to buy the products, is $5,125. The total amount of commissions that are paid out, okay, is $4,625, and then we subtract processing fees from those that we get from the merchant banks from people writing their credit cards and stuff. So this is what it costs, and this is what all in means. All in is doing this plus buying a ticket to the next event. Well, when somebody comes into your business, here's what happens. If they only buy the blog, obviously you're only going to earn a $25 commission. Well, if they buy the blog and the inner circle, you have the potential of earning $125 per month. Right? If they buy the blog, the inner circle, and the Costa Rica Mastermind, you can earn $625 up to that amount, right? And then $125 a month in ongoing monthly commissions, right? So how do you hit your goals is the question. Well, you can hit your goals in multiple ways here. Number one is through residual or ongoing income. What's ongoing income? It's from somebody who continues to purchase a product month after month after month, right? For example, to hit $10,000 a month, you could do it with 400 people paying, I think it's 400 people, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments or something like that, divide 10,000 by 25 and you're going to get the number that you're going to need to hit that goal with only that product, right? With the inner circle, right, obviously you could get 100 people on that product and you're going to hit that goal or approximately hit that goal, all right? So that's how it works. Well, if you could also make these one-time commissions from people, you're obviously going to have the ability to earn more quicker when you bring somebody in the business, if you can get good at selling these one-time higher ticket purchases. So in other words, if somebody comes into your business and you can get really adept at connecting with people and finding their core desire, right? Here's what my experience is. My experience is that no matter what somebody's situation is, somebody will come in, and if you go through this process with them properly, almost every single time they will purchase up to at least the Costa Rica Mastermind Intensive. And why will they do that? They'll do that because they have the desire to get the results that they want in their business, and you're framing it properly with your energy because you're willing to connect with them, you're willing to talk to them, and you're willing to help them get those results. Here's the key, though, to make this process really work. The key is, in order to make this work, you've got to know what's in these products. You've got to actually go through them. And you've got to be a product of the product. You got to be all in if you want to sell all in, right? So people are going to do what you do. I found a long time ago that people are only willing to do what I'm willing to do, and therefore I am not willing to ask somebody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So for me in my business, I always become a product of the product, and then I sell the product. That's what I do. That's the process I follow. So in other words, I'm going to buy the Inner Circle. I'm going to listen to the audios, right, in my car when I'm driving around. I'm going to listen to that in my downtime. I'm going to buy the Costa Rica Mastermind. I'm going to learn the principles that started Empower Network, that started this company, that grew it from a room of 30 people to a group of over 300,000 people. I'm going to buy the 15K formula, and I'm going to learn the strategies on how to take my business and to scale it to the next level. I'm going to buy the Master's course. I'm going to learn how to build real culture, real organizations, and real successful networks of people. I'm going to buy those things. I'm going to apply them in my own business, because by applying them in my business, by applying them in my life, and by receiving that transformation, by going through those products with the expectation of being able to hit my outcome, I'm going to be able to more effectively frame those to my new customers and my new affiliates that are coming to my business, to be able to not only help them get the results that they want, but to be able to also make a lot more money when I sell a lot more of the upsells. Does that make sense? So in other words, you want to, number one, get all in, and number two, lead that by example, and then number two, when you go to your team, when you go to your new people coming in, you're going to be able to go to them and to say, hey, here is what you need to do next, because this is what I did, and this is what got my result, and this is what can help you get result. That's how you frame that message. Does that make sense to you? There's some other advantages too, but I'm not going to talk about it. What I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a couple of short examples of the entire thing, language and everything, on how to walk through this process. And we actually go through more how to do this with any product and every service, because remember, all our products are generic. We go through more how to do this in a lot of the products that we have in the Costa Rica Mastermind Intensive, and also in the Master's course. We go through this a lot, and also in the 15K formula. We go through framing, we go through objections, we go through languaging and things like this. So let me give you an example. Let's say I get a new person in, and we've been using this name Billy. So let me take Billy and walk him through a whole new member orientation, but I'm going to keep it short because I don't have a lot of time, and I want to make sure that you understand how to do this. You're going to get the best result by understanding those 6 principles, those 6 steps that I outlined, and by being willing to walk people through them. All right? So let me give you some role plays and some examples, and then I'm going to teach you how to overcome objections, because objections will come up along the way. All right? So let's go through them again. So first thing I want to do is I want to establish connection. So I'm going to call Billy, ring, ring, right? Billy's going to say hello. I'm going to say, hey, is this Billy Jones? He's going to say, yeah. Billy, I wanted to call and welcome you to my team. This is Dave Wood, your sponsor in Empower Network. How you doing? You feel the energy with that? He's going to be shocked that I called him, number one, because nobody on the internet ever calls anybody. Number two, he's going to stop and he's, good, good. And I'm going to say, Billy, I was just seeing here, I got the email. I wanted to give you a call and find out what your goal is and how I can help you achieve it. So let me ask you something, Billy. What do you want to accomplish here at Empower Network? And why did you decide to join today? Faster you do this, the better result you're going to get. If he joins now, I want to call him now. Why did you decide to join today? And he's going to say, well, I saw, and he's going to tell you some reason, right? Well, I saw an ad and I saw this and I thought maybe this is a way where I can make money. I can make an income. Well, how much income are you really looking to make, Billy? Well, I'm really wanting to make about $10,000 a month. Almost everybody will tell you they want to make between $5,000 and $10,000 a month. So how much money do you really want to make, Billy? Well, I really want to make between $5,000 and $10,000 a month. Billy, tell me more about that. When you make $5,000 or $10,000 a month, what's that really going to get you that you don't have right now? Pause. Well, that's going to get me, I'm going to be able to quit my job. So when you quit your job, Billy, when you make that $5,000 a month and you quit that job, what's that going to get you that you don't have now? Pause. Right? Well, that's really going to give me my time. I'm really going to have a lot more time, and I'm going to make more money than I do now. So Billy, when you make that money and when you have that time, what's that going to get for you that you don't have right now? I just want to be there for my son. I just feel like I'm working all the time and I never get to see my son. So what you're really doing this for is you want time with your son. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Billy, I need to ask you a few questions, and I need to find out how serious you are, because I only work with people who are serious about doing what they need to do to get the results they want in their business. So let me ask you a question. Number one, how much time are you willing to dedicate to your business? Not how much time are you willing to tell me you're going to dedicate, but how much time are you willing to spend in your business doing exactly what I tell you to do, where you're not going to vary from what I tell you to do. If I can tell you how to make that $5,000 a month and tell you how you can recover that time to where you can really be there for your son. How much time are you willing to dedicate on a nightly basis or a daily basis and also on a weekly basis to hit that? He's going to tell you an answer, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Man, I'm willing to dedicate 25 hours a week. I can do that. So in other words, if you say 25 hours a week, you're not going to be refreshing Facebook, you're not going to be watching the news, you are going to be sitting there working on your business, doing exactly what I tell you to do, that's what you're going to do. Is that right? Yeah, that's exactly, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Great. Now let me ask you another question, Billy. How much money are you willing to dedicate in two areas in your business? Number one, to get started, making sure you've got the education that you need, the tools that you need in order to get started in your business right. Number two, on an ongoing monthly basis, to dedicate towards marketing in order to be able to hit this goal of making $5,000 a month so you can really spend the time with your son that you want. Well, man, I'm not rich, but I could put in, $3,000. I could put in $3,000 now, and I could put $500 a month in. So let me ask you a question, Billy, and here's why I'm asking it for you. Because you've told me that you want to make $5,000 a month, and you told me that you're doing it for your son. You told me that that's why you're doing this. And you told me that you'd put in 25 hours a week to your business, right? You told me no matter what you'd do that. And you just told me that you'd be willing to put in $3,000 to get your business started. So if I tell you what to do with the $3,000 and what to do with the money every month that you're in your business, to where to aim it, if I tell you exactly what to do to be able to make that $5,000 to be able to come and be with your son, are you going to listen to me and do exactly what I tell you to do, or are you just screwing around with me and you're not really going to do what I tell you to do ever because you think that you're right? And I just want to know right up front, because I don't want to spend any time with somebody that's not humble and willing to listen. So are you willing to listen, or are you just kind of do what you want to do regardless of what you say? In other words, I want to know if what you tell me is honest and you're committed to doing it. Pause. Right? He can tell you. Right? Now he's either going to run off then, and I'm fine if they do. I'm fine. I'll say go get a refund. Right? If you go run off, it's fine. This isn't for you. But if he tells me, I'm willing to do whatever you tell me to do, then I say, great, because here's what we're going to do. Number one, we're going to work within your budget. So I want to make you comfortable there, because I'm never going to ask you to do anything that's outside your budget. Number two, right, we're going to work within your time. So here's what I want you to do next. I want you to log into the back office and tell me when you're in your back office. Tell me when you're there. So he's going to say, yep, I'm there. Now, really quickly, you look on the left, you see Activate Now buttons, or you look at the top, wherever it is, depending on whether we have a new back office by the time you see this. Oh, what products do you have and what products do you still need to get? And he's going to tell me, well, I've got, the blog. He just joined, right? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You're going to walk up, and I'm going to have you buy all the way up to the 15K formula, because we're working within his budget, okay? I'm going to have you buy up to the 15K formula, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do next. Now, here's what there's some buttons over on the left-hand side that say Activate Now, okay? And I need you to activate the Inner Circle, the Costa Rica Intensive, and the 15K formula. That right there is about $1,600, dramatically less than $3,000, because we want to dedicate some of that other money towards advertising, also, maybe getting some tools you need, and also putting it aside for the future months in your business when you're going to need resources to do something, because I've got something else that I need you to do, and I also want you to do something else. So what I want you to do is go ahead and buy those products, and while you're doing that, I actually got to go grab a cup of coffee here, Billy. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a cup of coffee, put the phone down, and I want you to go ahead and activate each one of those products now. Is that okay with you? Yeah, that's okay. Put the phone on the desk, go walk around my house, celebrate. I got one, right? No, but here's the thing. What just happened? I just turned a $25 customer into an additional $1,600 of commissions, right? Commissions that wouldn't have existed if I didn't call him. You get that? Those commissions would not have existed if I didn't call him. Now, maybe he'd buy some stuff at an event or something like that, but they wouldn't have existed if I didn't call him. You got that? They also wouldn't have existed if I didn't own those products, because they're going to ask you. I'm going to talk about the objection formula. All right? So what did I just do? I just multiplied the amount of money that I made by like 50 times or something ridiculous. Unbelievable what I just did and what I just accomplished. So I come back, I pick up the phone, I say, have you bought those products? And he says, yes. I'm going to ask you to make one more commitment. And he's going to say, what's that? I want you to commit to me, Billy, that you're going to come to our next event. That you're going to come to our next event. And let me ask you a question before I ask you to do this, and here's why I'm going to ask you. Because I want you to get the results you want, not that I want. Billy, I want the results you want. Are you willing to do what it takes to get the results you want in your business? To be able to be with your son, to be able to make that money? You say, yeah. Then I want you to go here. I want you to buy the ticket to the next event. It should be on the left-hand side in your members area. Right now, as of making this video, we have it in the upper left, but it might move. So you want to click on the event tickets. You want to buy that ticket. And here's what I'm going to tell them. Because, Billy, I can't convey to you the energy, the support, the message, the relationships that can be conveyed to you at an event with thousands of people at it. And you just got to get there for yourself and experience it, because these events are here for one purpose. They're to take people like you and to show them how to get their time back, how to be with their kids more, how to make $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month from people who are just like you, who have done it. More importantly though, Billy, I'm going to be at the next event. And I want to meet you there. And I want to sit down with you. And I want to strategize. The next event that's coming up is in, just say where it is, right? You need to buy your tickets and know where it is, right? So you can tell them where it is. Let's say it's in Orlando, right? So say the next event we actually have right now, as of making this video, is in New Orleans, but you might be seeing this at a different time. So you say, you got to get there to Orlando, because we're going to sit down and I'm going to do a strategy session with you. And I promise you if you go, that I will do whatever it takes with you to help you get those results. Will you go? Yes. I want you to click that button right now, and I want you to buy your ticket. And then after we get off this phone, I want you to arrange your flight tickets, and I want you to arrange your hotel tickets. Will you do that? Yes. Great. Go ahead and buy your ticket and tell me when it's done. But you could do that by clicking on the event tickets, selecting your ticket package, and hitting the submit button. Go ahead and do that now. Notice I haven't asked him what to do. I've asked him what he's willing to do, why he wants to do it, and then I've told him what to do. Big difference, right? Right? So then he's going to buy his event ticket. What's the key? When people get to the events, they stick in more and they make more money. You can prove it, right? Now, here's the next thing. You're going to run into objections in this process. Now, I got to be a little bit faster with this because I want to finish this video and move on to the next video. You're going to really get the best results from this from listening to Inner Circle audios, from going through the information, the Costa Rica Mastermind Intensive, from learning what's in the 15K formula, and from learning what's in the Master's course, and learning to apply it in these conversations. And you're going to get more knowledge and more connection with your team by doing this than you can by doing anything else, ever. Okay? So what's the next thing that you want to tell people to do, though? And then I'm going to go to the objection formula. There's actually one thing I almost skipped over. The next thing you want to tell people to do after you do that process and get them to purchase the products they want is you want to tell them to go through these Fast Start videos, these 9 videos, the introductory video, the formula, and then the 8 steps that follow the formula. Because if they go through this process, number one, they're going to see that you're doing what we tell them to do in these videos. So all of a sudden, the process becomes more believable. All of a sudden, they're going to reach out and they're going to do new member coachings just like you did with them. And all of a sudden, they're going to go and they're going to buy an extra product or 2 or an extra product or 3 because they're going to understand why they should buy those extra products from these same videos that you're watching that's getting you to decide to buy all the products and go all in. Does that make sense? So they're going to go through the same process you're going through. And when you have a process like that, it creates a reinforcement cycle that we actually explain in some of our products. It'll blow your mind when you understand it. So you're going to ask them to go through these and to commit to watching them that night when they get in, even though it's a couple hours, right? And if you do this process with people, it will transform your results. So objections, how do you deal with that, when objections come up? Well, there's a formula. Number one, you have to have rapport or none of this works. So if you're not connected with people, if you're not listening and asking questions, if you don't have that good feel, that good vibe on the phone, you could go through any formula you want, nobody's going to listen to you. But if you got that connection, you could break different parts of this formula, it'll still work. So the connection, the relationship, the responsiveness is the thing that matters most. What's the second part of it? The second part of it is finding their core desire. Because if you don't find the core desire, you can't overcome objections, right? You can't overcome because you have no leverage. See, the core desire and their goals are the leverage to overcome objections. So when they say, oh, no, wait a second, I'm not buying the 15K formula, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, wait a second, you just told me that you wanted to make $5,000 a month so that you could recapture your time with your son. You told me also that you were willing to invest $3,000 into your business and that you're absolutely committed to doing what I told you to do in order so you can earn the income that you want and recover that time with your son. So Billy, let me ask you a question. When you told me that, are you actually serious about spending that time with your son? Or were you just playing around? Voice change. Oh, I'm serious. Great. Then go ahead and click the button. Okay? So what did I do? Man, I went back to his core desire, saw how serious he was, right? Then I told him to take action. Again, I didn't ask him, I told him what to do. So what's the formula again? Develop responsiveness, get to the core desire, confirm the objection, confirm they're serious, tell them what to do again. That is all you need to do no matter what the objection is. You don't even need to know language. That's the process you need to do. So we'll have that in the worksheet. If this doesn't have a worksheet when you see it because we haven't made it yet, it'll be in the worksheet and you just walk through that process. You can use different words as long as it's that process, it'll work. So let me tell you a story here real quick and then I'm going to give you some thoughts. Story is, I live in a van in 2009 and I don't have any money. Okay, I don't have the money to make to get the products that I need for my education. I don't have the money that I need to buy the tools I need for my business. I don't have the money that I need to go to the events that I need to go to. I don't have the money. I'm broke. I live in a van. I'm homeless, right? One night I lost the job I had. I had a job where I was in Greenpeace, hitting people up on street corners and things. And I had about $45 left in my bank account. I was sleeping in my van, which is of course illegal everywhere. You're usually not allowed to sleep in cars and just park wherever you want anywhere in the United States, right? It's kind of like this anti-homeless law going around, especially in Hawaii though, right? Which is where I was living. And one night I was sitting there in my van and bam, bam, bam on my window, I heard some knocking, kind of like woke up like this. And I woke up and I was like, The cops woke up and they said, sorry, you can't sleep here. We're going to give you a ticket. That ticket was for $45, the exact amount I had in my bank account. Oh, I was mad. I was furious. But I decided that day to change. And no matter what, I would come up with the money that I needed to do what I want from that moment on. A few months later, I had a night where I earned more in a night than I earned the previous last year. How? Because I made a decision to do it. So a few things I'm going to ask you to do. Number one, go all in. Get all in. Decide that you're going to get all in your business. Now if you say, yeah, I can't do that, well, work within your budget. At least buy the next product. Buy the next product that you don't have. So if you've got all the way up to the Costa Rica Intensive, then just buy the 15K. Go ahead and pull out your credit card, click on the button that says Activate Now in your back office, and click on the button that says Submit your order and claim your copy of the 15K formula now. Right? If you can go all in, get all in. Number two, get your ticket to the next event. Click on there and register your ticket, because if you go, it'll show your sponsor you're serious, it'll show the company you're serious, it'll show your team that you're serious, but more importantly, it'll show yourself that you're serious because you're willing to do what it takes. Because how do you do this? How do you do this? You get around the people who know how to show you what to do. So get your ticket to the next event. So what do you do again? You get all in, get your ticket to the next event. What's the third thing to do? Watch the next video. We have now covered the chunk of things that are there to build your income. Now the next chunk of things are designed that as you're building it, that you'll be able to continue to build it. You'll be able to continue to build it, you'll be able to hold it together, and you're going to be able to keep your team together and keep your team growing with the absolute minimal amount of work involved. That's what the next four things are designed to do. So the next four, in my opinion, are even more important, because I learned something a long time ago, that if you don't grow people, they can't grow the business. But if you grow people, people grow the business. Because what shows up on the outside is what's on the inside, and what's on the inside comes from not what you think, but who you are. So if what you are isn't growing, your income and your business can't grow. So that's what these next four things are dedicated to doing, is number one, showing you how to grow, but number two, how you how you can lead a team to grow. And by leading a team to grow, you're going to grow your organization, you're going to grow your income, you're going to grow your business. So what do you do again? Get all in. Buy the next product. Buy your ticket to the next event. Commit that you're going to the next event. Number 3, watch the next video, come back, and we're going to show you how to get bigger, better, more successful results in your business than you ever dreamed was possible.
Folks, obviously the income examples discussed in this video are extraordinary. The income claims presented are not intended to serve as a guarantee of income. Instead, they're designed to give you an idea of what's possible. Success in this business requires leadership, hard work, and dedication. Since we want to help you make an informed decision, we've gone above and beyond with our income disclosure document. If you want to see the average earnings, please visit the page at www.empowernetwork.com/income.php.